Yeah, so guys, yesterday's video got a ton of support. And yeah, there's 98 unique comments, so good luck to the 98 of you. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Who's going to win? And hey, Nicholas, congrats, bro. I mean, congrats on the Galil as well. But yeah, this M4 leaded glass will be coming your way as soon as it's tradable on the 15th. But guys, today's giveaway is a Glock 18 Water Elemental. And if you want to have a chance of winning, all you got to do is leave a like on the video, comment down below which M4A1-S you think is the best value for money. And of course, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Winner will be picked at the start of tomorrow's video. But yes, guys, obviously we recently had the Armory update, so there's been a lot of content based on all of those new skins, stickers, and buddies. But not only did we do the best value for money Armory skins yesterday, we've also done the best value knives, the best value knife finishes, the best value gloves, and the best value AKs. And of course, a bunch of you were asking for the best value M4s. So today we are going to be going over the best value M4A1Ss on CS2, and it's actually a great time to do it as we've got a bunch of new really nice M4A1S skins. Real quick, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, which is SkinSwap, where you can buy, sell, and trade your CS2 skins quick and easily. For example, let's say you wanted a field-tested AK Empress on Steam. These go for around about $45 cheapest, whereas over on SkinSwap, you can get one of these for $34.25, saving you almost 30%. SkinSwap also offer free rewards if you use code WILD, which also helps them know that I sent you. Also, there is now a backpack feature, meaning users can store skins on the site, making it way easier for you to snipe some crazy deals as soon as they appear. So if you want to try them out and save a load of money on skins, please use the link at the top of the description. And now let's get back into the video. So yeah, let's get straight into the list. So yeah, guys, starting off we have the M4A1-S Moss Quartz, which of course is from the Norse collection. Now, it's kind of crazy how much this skin is now. Like, you're looking at around about $60 on third-party sites. I actually remember getting this as a drop when the operation was out, and I think I may have sold mine for like $15 or something because I was just like, man, I don't really want the skin, just sitting around. But yeah, that's kind of crazy, guys. It shows how much operation skins can just shoot up in value over the years. Another thing to mention, guys, is this is a field-tested, like a low-float field-tested one, and it looks pretty scraped up. And yeah, even that on third parties is like $30 cheapest, so I feel like this used to be far higher up on my list, but because of the price increases, I'd probably have to put it at like, honestly, like low B. I think C is a bit too harsh, but especially as it now looks really nice on CS2 with the lighting. But yeah, low B, honestly, the more the price goes up, the lower I value this because, yeah, it's just getting too expensive. Next up, we have the M4A1S Atomic Alloy, which is such a nice skin, guys. Like, it's just, like, I love the orange color on it. Like, orange is one of my favorite colors, and mixed with the black and this, like, metallic shine effect, like, it just looks so sick to the Moss Quartz. And, yeah, I mean, this is a low-flow field tested, and it's still crazy scraped up. It's actually slightly more expensive than the Moss Quartz, so I'm gonna put it again in, like, a low B, but it could, like, these could easily move down to, like, top of C. We just kind of need to see what the rest of the M4s are saying. But guys, next up, as you can see, we have the M4A1S Blue Phosphor, arguably the best, if not one of the best M4A1S skins in the entire game. But yeah, as nice of a skin as this is, guys, it is crazy, crazy expensive. We're talking, you know, close to $600, which for pretty much the majority of people is way too much for a singular weapon skin. So yeah, as much as this would be an S-tier skin, like, because it just looks sick and it's blue, and blue is my favorite color, like, I can't not put it in D tier, guys. It's way too expensive for the majority of people for it to be a good value for money skin. And if you thought the Blue Phosphor was bad, we are now moving on to the M4A1S Knight, which is far, far worse. It's like 5 times as expensive. So yeah, considering this is pretty much just a default M4 with some gold trimmings, which does look super clean. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's no way this is worth $3,000 based off the look of the skin. Of course, it's because it trades up to the AWP Dragon Lore, but yeah, I know sometimes I put skins like below like expensive skins because they just look terrible, but honestly, the Knight is arguably like, yeah, it has to be the worst value for money M4A1S skin. Like, it's just far too expensive nowadays. We now move on to the M4A1S Dark Water, which is actually from the first CSGO weapon case. So it's a super OG skin. But yeah, because it's in that case, and obviously you can trade it up and and have a chance of getting like a blue gem AK. This is crazy expensive now, and this is a factory new one, and it looks pretty scraped up. So yeah, considering this is like around about $75, like this could easily be D tier. I'll put it in C for now just to kind of like space these skins out, but it may end up coming down into D tier. But next, guys, we have the M4A1S Hot Rod, which is a beautiful, beautiful skin, especially if you're going for a red loadout. However, what is not beautiful is the price tag. One of these nowadays will set you back almost $900. So yeah, it has to be under the Blue Phosphor. Like, it's just another crazy expensive OG rare skin. But yeah, like for the majority of people, It's terrible value for money. Next up, though, we have the M4A1-S Basilisk, which I think is a beautiful skin, guys. Like, look at this, guys. It's kind of like the Cartel in the sense that it's almost like a default M4A1-S with kind of a nice design etched into the metal. And yeah, with the new CS2 lighting and just how crisp skins look now, considering in fact new it's around $10, or you could probably get it just cheaper in Minware or field tested. I'm gonna have to put this as the first like really good value for money skin, because yeah, you're getting a pretty nice looking skin for a very low price, especially compared to some of these D-Tisk. Now the next skin on the list is the M4A1-S Guardian, and price wise this is around about double or triple the price of the previous Basilisk. And yeah, I mean, it's very clean. If you like this kind of navy look and just don't want anything super flashy, it's a great option. But yeah, do I think it's S tier? Personally, I can't put it S tier. I think considering it's a bit boring, like yes, the price is kind of right, but it's just not quite there for me. So I think A tier, you're getting a good value for money. It may even be like top of B. We'll see. But for me, yeah, this would be like A tier, probably lower end of A, just because I kind of prefer the skins which just have a bit more going on. Next up, guys, we have the M4A1-S Masterpiece, which I personally do not think is a masterpiece. I'm sorry, guys. Any Masterpiece lovers? Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't really like the pattern in the background. I like the colors, probably about it. This graffiti stuff as well, it looks all right. It's definitely not boring. But yeah, ever since the old Overpass skins were removed, because obviously we've got the new Overpass skins now. And yeah, in factory new, like, I don't know, like, it's kind of hard. Like, maybe you think the Blue Phosphor's a better skin. For me, personally, I do. So I would put it higher. But yeah, I would rank it like this. Some people may prefer it or may not like the Blue Phosphor and would put this above it. But either way, it's a D tier skin. It's not very good value for money. I don't know how you could put the Hot Rod or the Knight above it in value for money wise, because in a lot of cases, the Hot Rod is almost 3 times the price. So yeah, I think this is the correct order. Next up, though, we have the M4A1-S Flashback, which I absolutely love. I think the design is great. We kind of got like a throwback to the hippie movement, and we got the shush on the suppressor. It's obviously going for that kind of like old school Vietnam War style, which I mean, I don't really like visually the look of, because it kind of just looks a bit grubby, but to be fair, like that's what it's meant to be going for. So whoever designed it did a really good job. And yeah, even in fact new, it's only like $2, guys. So you could get a Minware one or a field tester one or a well-worn one. Like honestly, this is so cheap, and I think just the details of the designs make it worth like every penny. So I think it has to be S tier. You may swap these around. I probably don't know, the Basilisk, just because it's more clean. I kind of prefer it. It's more like a default M4 with like a cool design on. This one, as I say, a whole kind of like muddied up like army look. Not as much of a fan of, but it definitely is S tier when it comes to value for money. Next up though, guys, we have a legendary Counter-Strike skin, being the M4A1-S Hyper Beast. Super colorful, super cool design. Now this is a factory new one, and they do tend to be quite expensive. However, this is a low float field tested one, and I still think it's passable. And at a low float field tested, like honestly, they're not too bad. They're like 6 times cheaper than a factory new one. So I would argue that this goes into A tier just because it's so sick. And if you're willing to like have some scrapes on it, like just a minuscule amount, then yeah, you can get it for a pretty decent price, and I think that deserves an A tier. The same could be said about the Player 2. This is again a low float field tested one. This is again like the Hyper Beast, a low float field tested one. And yeah, it still looks really clean. It's slightly more expensive than the Hyper Beast, but I would argue this is again an A tier value for money. Next up though, we have the M4A1-S Cyrex, which is a super clean skin. I really like the whole red, black, and white theme. I don't think it's as cool as the Hyper Beast or the Player 2, but it is slightly cheaper in a decent field tested wear, and even in factory new, it's like way cheaper than both of them. But personally, I do think like if you're on a bit of a budget, you probably can save up a tiny bit more and get one of these two, but it's personal preference, guys. But I would say this is just below them, but still a banger value for money. And honestly, some of these might get moved up in the end. Like I'm trying to be really critical, so maybe, you know, we end up seeing a list where all of these are in S tier, because actually, you know, skins are more expensive. But for now, we'll keep them where they are. But yeah, next up though, we have the M4A1-S, M4A1-S, and this is obviously based off of Jurassic Park, and wow, like I think this is a banger skin. Not only because like they did a really good job at matching the whole Jurassic Park truck theme, but it's also super budget. Like fact new, you're looking at like $2, which is less than a case key, which is crazy, but you don't need to get it in fact new. So it kind of matches the flashback, but I think design wise and color wise, it's a bit more flashy. So I personally prefer it. And yeah, if you're going for like a green loadout, it's a really good option. So yeah, that's why it deserves S tier. Next up though, we have the M4A1-S Briefing, which is first like kind of cheaper skin, which I'm probably going to rate kind of low. Like I really don't like the design. I get it. It's like a briefing. It's almost like a map. It looks a bit like a old school Call of Duty map. But yeah, for me, the colors, I don't know. If we just had like the navy blue blue, that'd be cool, but I'm not really a fan of this like greenish gray. So even though it is like only like $9-ish, maybe a bit more than $9, 10-ish bucks for a fact new one, or, you know, 4-ish bucks for a minwear, I would honestly still put it underneath these two, as I just much prefer the skins. So it's like, it's okay. It's B tier, low B tier. I probably wouldn't even recommend it to most people, but I can't argue. It's a pretty decent value for money, but it's just, yeah, it just doesn't look that great in my opinion. But guys, for the next skin, we have the M4A1-S, Welcome to the Jungle. And oh my days, this skin is expensive. Now, it does look super cool, but ain't no way, in my opinion at least, this is worth over $2,000 in factory new. Now, if you want to cheap out, guys, and get a field tested one, then we're looking at like over $1,000 still for this, which is absolutely insane. This is super low float as well, so probably would be a tiny bit more than just $1,000. So yeah, I'm sorry, but this has to be arguably the second worst value for money skin. Like, it's just not worth it, guys. Next up though, we have the M4A1-S Nightmare, which, I mean, guys, if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know I'm a massive fan of this skin. Now, in low float field tested, there are some scrapes, so you could opt to go for a low float min wear, which can still be found cheaper than the Hyper Beast or the Player 2. But personally, guys, as someone who loved the Icarus Fell, this has to be an S tier. Now, maybe I am being biased here. I'm putting it top of S tier. I think it is the best value for money M4A1-S skin in the entire game. Like, it is so good. Now, yes, the Basilisk is great and it's quite a bit cheaper, and that especially goes for the M4A1 or the Flashback, but I don't know, I just think for such a sick, cool design skin with really nice color scheme that you can get at a low price, like, nothing beats the Nightmare. It's one of the best value for money skins in the entire game. So yeah, that's why for me, it's the top of S tier. Next, guys, we have the M4A1-S Print Stream, which is an absolute juice of a skin. One of my favorites. So clean. But what is not so clean is the price. Now, like some of these other skins, you can get it in different wares, which, you know, look pretty similar. If you want it cleanest though, you want fact new, but I would argue this is more so like a C tier skin. I would maybe even do that, like, which again is a bit of personal bias, but I think, like, if you want to get like a lowest float field tested one, it's still going to cost you a lot, but it is a really good skin that is still like either half the price or in some cases triple or quadruple times less than any of these D tier skins. So yeah, C tier, I think that's fair. Next up though, we have the M4A1-S Chantico's Fire, which design wise is super colorful and super crazy. It's obviously like a stained glass window, and if you like the mix of the red and the yellow, then I'm sure this will be way up on your list. This one's factory new, but of course you can get a low float field tested one, which will have a couple of scrapes, but I still think looks pretty good. Now, even a low float field tested is more expensive than all of these three by like almost 50% in some cases, so I don't think it deserves A tier. I think it's like a solid top of B pick. But what is not a solid top of B pick is the M4A1-S Decimator. Oh my days, guys, look at this skin. It is such a good value for money. Like, oh yeah, also guys, look at this. This is factory new, and then this is low float field tested. Like, it barely looks any different. And oh, this is difficult, guys. I would say again, this is top. Is it better? Like, I kind of prefer the Nightmare just because of the design, but considering you can get a field tested one for under $10, and whereas with the Nightmare, you kind of probably want to get like a lowish min wear instead of a lowest field tested. Actually, the Decimator is probably the better pick, but I personally would go for the Nightmare, but I'll put Decimator top because what a great value for money skin. Next up though, we have the Mecha Industries. This is a factory new one. This is a low float field tested one, and this is a lowest float battle scarred version, which I probably wouldn't recommend to anyone. Now, it is super clean, a bit like a print stream, but price-wise, if you're going for a field-tested one, you're looking at similar to a Chantico's Fire, and I would probably put it above the Chantico's Fire when it comes to value for money, because I just like the whole, like, white and black, like, clean skins. But, yeah, again, this is personal preference. Maybe you'd swap these around, but I do think, like, it's a solid pickup if the print stream is out of your budget. We now have the M4A1-S Leaded Glass, which is actually a lot cheaper than I thought it was, and it still looks pretty decent. And, yeah, in factory new, guys, it's under $10. In low-float field-tested, you're looking at, like, $4. So, honestly, I'm going to put it third in S tier. I did not expect to do that. Next, we have the M4A1-S Night Terror. Of course, though, if you guys know, the Battle Scarred version looks way cooler because it's, like, super purple. And, yeah, price-wise, this is dirt cheap. I think, again, we're going to have to put this in S tier. Like, I'm going to put it behind these two. Some people might argue that it's better because it's, like, even in Battle Scarred, it's just over $1. So, this could easily actually be the best value for money skin. Maybe it is. Maybe I'll put it top of S. Like, it's honestly so cheap. It's less less than half the cost of a key to open the case that it's from. So yeah, it probably does actually have to go top of S. Like, these are definitely my top 3 favorites. Yeah, it's crazy how cheap it is now. Next up, guys, we have the M4A1-S Mud Spec. Now, this one's in factory new, but in case you didn't know, you can get it in battle scarred, and it looks like this, which some people prefer. Now, compared to something like the Night Terror, I think like this is a really good value for money, but I wouldn't put it up here necessarily with any of these skins. I'd probably put it more so down in this range. It's still probably an S tier. I would maybe even put it top of A, but that's just me personally. I would say, yeah, actually top of A. Yes, it's cool, but it is also kind of like a bit basic, whereas some of these other skins I think are either a bit more clean or just have better design. Next, we have the M4A1-S control panel, which I absolutely love the design of, but I don't know if I think like in-game it's that insane. But no, I mean, honestly, considering its price, like, yes, in factory new it's expensive, but in Minway you can get it for quite a bit cheaper. I would probably put it in the range of like bottom A. It's still a really good skin. But what is an even better skin in my opinion is the M4A1-S Golden Coil, which just looks absolutely insane. Black and yellow or black and gold. You can just never go wrong with this combo. And oh my days, yeah, this skin looks so good. Now, it is a bit pricey, but you can get a battle scarred one like this, which does look a bit more like dark and stuff. But if you don't mind that, you will save yourself a ton of money. Oh, this is a really difficult one, guys, because I would honestly want to put it higher, but it is just expensive. Like, it's kind of in the Chantico Fire range. I'd probably put it here, like near the top of B. I want to put it higher, but it is just like, even in Battle Scarred, we're looking at close to $30. So Chantico's Fire is actually slightly cheaper, but I do think like the Golden Coil is miles better. So yeah, somewhere around here. Actually, you know what? Maybe top of B. That makes more sense. So yeah, absolute banger. What doesn't make sense to me though, guys, is the M4A1-S Imminent Danger. I think this skin is trash personally. And I mean, okay, no, I'm joking when I say it doesn't make sense. Of course, the reason why it's super expensive is it's a covert skin from an operation, and it's just super, super rare. Like, no one wanted it, which has then caused it to be super rare, which has then caused it to be super expensive. But yeah, in factory new, this is over $1,400. You could get a field tested one, which is just a lot more darker, but that's still going to be costing you around $650, which is just crazy in my opinion for this skin. Of course, if you're trying to be like unique and stuff, then sure, but I personally would put this as the worst value for money skin. But I just think the Knight being as expensive as it is, and like there being no way to get this any cheaper, like you can't get like a low float field tested version, like the Knight has to be the worst value for money, even though it's way nicer than the Imminent Danger. But yeah, it's definitely like the second bottom, and if it weren't for the Knight's price because of the Dragonlord trade-ups, it would be bottom. Next, we have the Boreal Forest M4A1-S, and honestly, it's such a good value for money, but I just really don't like the skin that much. Like this design of just, you know, it's like a 5 headshot challenge on Modern Warfare 2 back in the day. So like, yeah, it just, I don't know, personally, I don't think it's that great. At least with something like the Mud Spec, like there is that cool thing how you can get it in Battle Scarred. With this, not really. I still think it has to go like near the top of A though, because honestly, guys, it's 3 cents in field tested. I mean, even that one I was looking at, which was fact new, you can get for just over $1. So yeah, it kind of has to go there just because of how cheap it is, and it doesn't look terrible. I just personally, I'm not the biggest fan. Next though, we have the M4A1-S Icarus Fell, which is an absolute juicer. This was an M4 that I used to use way back when I started playing CS in 2015. It was a lot cheaper back then, by the way, but yeah, I just thought it looked super sick, and it's also pattern based, so you can get like different looking ones. Now, unfortunately, because it is such an old skin, it is one of those skins which is just hella expensive. I would argue it's probably top of D because it is slightly cheaper than the blue phosphor. It's also got a bit of design on it, but I mean, it's still like, yeah, you're looking at like 450-ish, like, which is just crazy, but I much prefer it over something like the Masterpiece. Speaking about blue skins, next up we have the M4A1-S Brightwater, which is pretty much a Boreal Forest, but just blue. Now, unfortunately, unlike the Boreal Forest, which is super cheap, the Brightwater is actually quite a bit more expensive, and that's because it's part of the Bravo collection, so that's obviously the case that you open to get the Fire Serpent. So in fact, we're looking at around about almost $25, so that puts it in the same range as like kind of B tier, or like the better side of B tier, but I actually just don't like the skin that much, and as I say, I would probably put it near the bottom of B. Maybe we also move this down to C tier, but yeah, this pretty much bottoms out B tier. Next to the guys, we got the M4A1-S Blood Tiger, which is just a skin I don't like the look of at all. Like the colors just, for me, don't go. I mean, they kind of have a bit of contrast, but they just look trash. And yes, this skin is somewhat cheap. It's around about like the $5 mark. It doesn't really matter where you get, but I would personally put this, like, this is the worst skin, like, value for money wise. I just wouldn't recommend anyone buys it, but hey, if you're into it, that's fair. For me, this is bottom of C. It can't go D tier because it is cheap, but but it's honestly the worst cheap skin that you can probably get. Okay, wait. The M4 Vari Camo just came in and said, hold my beer, because this is also another cheap skin, but compared to like the cleanness of the Boreal Forest, I think this looks trash. Some of you guys who like the whole camo theme might actually prefer it. I don't know. I just really don't like the browns and just the mix of color here. This is a tough one, but again, it's like bottom of C. I don't know which one. I just wouldn't recommend it to anyone. You know what? It's cheaper, so I'll actually put it there. Next, though, we have the M4A1-S Nitro, which is super budget, and if you're looking for like an orange-ish loadout, then this is definitely what you'd go for when it comes to your M4A1-S, because, I mean, yes, the atomic alloy does look sick, but you can pick one of these up for around about the $4 mark, fac new, or save even more and get it for like under 50 cents in field tested. So honestly, I'd probably put this as like the 4th best skin. Like, it's actually really good value for money. Maybe move this down as well and move the Guardian down here. I'm just trying to like finalize the rankings. Next, though, we have the M4 Fizzy Pop, which, yes, it's pattern based, but I think looks absolutely disgusting. It is also super budget, but again, it's somewhere around here. Maybe I'll put it a bit above these two, but for me, it's C tier. Next, though, we have a skin that I completely forgot about, being the M4A1-S Black Lotus, and oh my days, is this skin insane. Looking at it as well in Battle Scarred, it looks even crazier. And yeah, it must have slipped my mind how budget this skin is, but honestly, like, I'm gonna put it second, because that Battle Scarred version is literally $9, which, if we're talking about the cost of a Decimator in field tested, it's kind of in the similar kind of price range, but I think like a newer skin like this just looks far more clean, which is crazy because that puts the Nightmare out of my top 3, which I didn't think would happen. But I also maybe would actually like move this down here, but just for the sake of the video, like, I'm keeping the Night Terror top because it's just so cheap. But like, actually, yeah, I would probably say these are my top 3 M4s, because yeah, they're just such good value for money. But the Night Terror as well, if you're on even more of a budget, you just can't go wrong with it. But guys, for the final 3 skins of the video, we start with the M4A1-S Wash Me Please, which, yeah, please just wash my eyes after seeing this skin. Like, I really don't like it personally. Like, what was the plan here? Of course, guys, these 3 final skins have just released, so they will go down in value quite a lot, at least in the short term. And then, yeah, of course, they'll go back up because a lot of them are operation based. But yeah, this one already is less than $1 no matter what you're getting. But it just really doesn't look good. So I would say this is like mid-C. It's in this kind of range of skins, which I just wouldn't recommend to anyone. But they're not as bad, like, value for money as these. But the value you get out of like the look of them is honestly the worst value. So that's why they're lower down on the list. But yes, guys, for the second last skin, we have the M4A1-S Fade, which will currently set you back around about $469. Of course, though, this probably will come down just because of how many of these are getting unboxed. But who knows? Long term, it may go back up. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm just a sucker for fade skins, but I think it looks insane. But yeah, it pains me, but this has to go down in the D tier. Like, you just, guys, spending like multiple hundreds of dollars on skins. Like, there are skins which are under $10 or around $10-15 range, which look insane. So yeah, or literally $1 or around $1 range. So yeah, spending hundreds, they're not good value for money. Like, if you have the money and you want to get some of these D tier skins, go for it. Some of them are the best skins in the game. Some of them are not, but yeah, like, honestly, it's up to you what you spend your money on. But yeah, I can't say that the M4A1-S Fade is a good value for money. Now for the final skin of the video, we have the M4A1-S Vaporware, which I think looks insane in factory new. Now, you could save quite a bit of money and get one in min wear, but currently you're still going to be spending over $160. So I think this is giving me like print stream vibes on, like, this could come down in value and be like kind of go up to maybe like a B tier. But for now, considering you can get like a battle scarred print stream, and if you don't mind the effect on that, then it's going to be cheaper than this. And this one actually gets scraped compared to a print stream. I think it just goes slightly lower than it. But yeah, I think this list, I mean, it's pretty like fairly split. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments though. And tomorrow I'm planning to do some more armory value for money lists. So if you'd rather see a sticker list or a charm list, let me know down in the comments and I'll do either one of those. Or if you're bored now and want to watch some more CS content, click one of the 2 videos on your screen right now.